What's going on, people? It's your boy D Davis, uh, Mr. 360, live and an indirect in your video scope. Back at it with another sports talking bull stuff on this beautiful Sunday morning in New England. It's a beautiful day. It's a crisp late summer day. Can't say early autumn. I guess you can't say early autumn. We'll say early autumn. Say early autumn day. I don't know if you can hear the birds and everything. They singing. Sun is bright, not a cloud in sight. Everything is all right. Plus, it is the first Sunday of the NFL season. Two games have happened already. I went in a lot of detail about one of the games, and I was supposed to do something about. Uh, I was supposed to do something about. What was the other game? Not Ravens. Nope. Green Bay and Philly. I was supposed to do Green Bay and Philly. Um, and I caught the second half of Green Bay Philly. I just know my fantasy quarterback is he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. So um in my second league, well, they really neck and neck because I really like both leagues. My second league, it's been running for almost 10 years. So second league running about almost 10 years, and my first league been running about damn near 20, over 20 might be. But yeah, second league, we do a live draft every year, and it's a good time. It was a really good time. But I got Joe Burrow in that league. So I got Jordan Love and Joe Burrow in that league. And I only got one quarterback in my one league, first league. So uh, I gotta scour that waiver wire. Um, but from what I saw of the game, I thought that Green Bay was gonna really miss Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a really good runner, really good running back. But Josh Jacobs, he pulled it together uh, in the second half, which is the half that I saw watched the most of. Um, so yeah, um, Jordan Love being out. Actually, I think he didn't utilize Josh Jacobs in the passing game as much as they should have. I didn't see what the final numbers was. I should probably check that before I'm talking about my behind. Hold on for a second. Let me do you hear the bells and sound in the background? Yeah. Got a church building not too far away. So I get to know the time every now and again. Oh, let me check. Here, talking shit. But yeah, I, it was a good game. Um, Philly always answered. They always answered. They always had a rebuttal. Um, the thing with these first games, it is really a glorified preseason game at this point because they're not playing any preseason games. So when you got that at play, it's not going to be. I don't think it's not going to be as competitive until at least the third game. Like that's when you're going to really see the competition. I mean, I know they do their what do they do their scrimmages and all that, but like practice and scrimmage it's a lot different. You may have what 2,000, 3,000, I don't know, 10,000 people watching the scrimmages. That's a lot different than 50,000 or however big the stadiums are. And I don't think it's that big for scrimmages. I think that might be the season ticket holders who get to have access to the scrimmages. So yeah, it ain't what it used to be. So the quality um, is gonna be what quality is. And I'm trying to log into ESPN, which is, don't you have my stuff stored already? Come on. Um, I don't know. I might be in Chrome right now. Uh, not Chrome. No, not Chrome. So I can't get it. Got a phone. But yeah, the games are what the games are right now. They ain't gonna be like too crisp until week 3. Um, but Philly pulled it out. They won. Saquon Barkley balled out. I think he had what, 3 touchdowns. Um, Said I didn't. I could have taken Saquon in first pick. Could have taken him. I don't like Philly though, so I'm gonna live with Christopher Olave. That was a big in my draft. This was in League 1. It was just the way that I said it because I wasn't too excited with any of the picks. We do a keeper league, so all it's a 10-man league, and everybody gets a keeper. So once you get 10 people off the board, you know you look at the first round, but it's really the second round. So my level of enthusiasm wasn't uh what it should have been, but I was looking at it wrong just because of the keeper factor. So that I don't know why I went on that tangent, but for any of the fellas in the league that comes across this, that was my thought, but it just came off as I was so upset with the pick, but I just wasn't really feeling anybody at that point of the draft. So like that, because it's in my mind, it's the first round. So because it is. Saquon Barkley balled out. Um, I guess the field was messed up. Going back to the video I made the other night, which is the game has been internationalized. So the NFL has been doing games in the UK and in Mexico and places like that, but they're traveling further and further uh, out, I guess, or entering new markets. Maybe they've done a Brazil game before. I don't know. I could just be talking out of my behind uh, about that. Maybe they've had NFL games before, but they were saying the field was messed up. Um, I was actually gonna make I actually was gonna make this video or attempt to make this video if I could have got up off the recliner to do so yesterday, and then I came across Jake the Asshole's video talking about it. He has a very interesting perspective on the NFL, sports in general. I was like, did they really use the field as a way to work the game? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, like I said, first 2 weeks, is glorified preseason. Um, so that is what it is. It's going to start, getting somewhat quality. For people who pay to watch the game, pay to go to the game. You paying a lot of money. I live in the New England region, so I can have a couple teams I can go to see, and all the teams in this area, you're gonna pay out the ass. Not even just to get into the building, to get into just park. Terrible hire. So you pay that type of money to go out, on a Thursday, I guess a Friday now, uh, a Sunday, sometimes Saturdays, and Fridays, they're gonna take over the landscape. And NBA's in big trouble because the NBA they play every day. Um, and Thanksgiving was supposed to be the NFL's day. Christmas was supposed to be, barring a Sunday Christmas, was supposed to be the NBA's day. And I guess the NFL said we want it all, player. Nothing is sacred no more. How we running it. So, you know, everything's Vegas now. Every day's Vegas. We can access Vegas or any of your local casinos or casinos that's uh connected like that. So everything's Babylon playing. Sad reality. Anyway, so NFL season is upon us. Is week one. Um, I am self-admittedly uh I am not as much of a NFL fan as I once was, just because you know other things have taken priority. Quality of play has, in my opinion, slipped. Um, and it's easy to look at at how at the offensive side of the ball and the numbers that the offensive players put up. Um, a lot because of this. We got these fantasy apps on our phones and on our computers and all that. And fantasy uh, has taken over. And admittedly, I am more of a fantasy football fan than I am a football or NFL fan itself. I'm a Cowboys fan. um, one time I was on that run, I was a New England Patriots fan too. Nah, I saw the talent with Brady from the start. I was watching that game where Bledsoe got hurt. Mo Green, Mo Lewis, one of the Mo's, not Mo Vaughn, Mo somebody. He went in Bledsoe chest, took him out. Brady came in, had very good decision making. Um, so the differences between Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady was it got to a point where Drew Bledsoe it took him too long to read the field, and he was just patting the ball, pat ball, pat ball, pat ball, pat ball, and he'd eventually get sacked or ran over like he did, which ended his playing run for the most part. I know he came in for a game half uh in that first Super Bowl run. Um, and did all right, but you know, as a Cowboys fan, I saw Drew Bledsoe in Dallas. So pat that fucking ball. It wasn't good at all because he was getting obliterated. So gotta make quick decisions, which Brady was able to do. And Brady is Brady. So I can't say I hopped on board uh uh I saw it from the start. I'll say that. I saw it from the start. Saw him come in, saw those games from there, and I saw difference in quarterbacking. I say Tom gonna be that dude, and lo and behold, was that dude. Many can say that other things were in play to make him that dude, but by far, at least for what from 2000, yeah, from 2000 to now, Tom has been that dude, and there's been previous eras of people who were that dude, but Tom did it 20 years. Oh, 20 years, I think. He was able to stack up, pile up, those things to enhance his resume, and all time in the annals of all time greats. Um, Troy Aikman had his run in the 90s. Uh, uh, Joe Montana in the 80s. Uh, Bradshaw and Staubach in the 70s. So people have their runs. Um, free agency has changed. Uh, free agency has changed things. I guess to the night from the 90s, 90 up. Free agency played a lot more, and teams being able to bring in new players, and I guess players being able to pick their own destiny and all that shit that these new new players be talking about. Control their destiny. Um, just do your job, homie. You know, when you're a free agent, pick wisely, but don't sign a contract. Don't Paul George it. Don't sign a contract for 5 years and play 1 year and be like, I kind of want to leave. Because that messes up the fact that if I was a GM, none of that should fly with me. I'd be a lot like Pat Riley. You ain't doing all that bullshit. Like you gonna play ball, you play your contract out. We're gonna operate in good faith. If you can't operate in good faith, then what the fuck is a contract? Really? Um, I've been on this legal kick heavy recently, so uh, yeah, yeah. But the competition has changed, and Brady has been able to accumulate a lot of, like I said before, Super Bowls, and he ain't got too many MVPs, but Super Bowls being the most valuable thing. Uh, Most people's book, he's up there in passing yards, uh, win shares, um, 10 win seasons, like he's up there in all those indicators of success. So will I say style of play has changed? Yes. um those first three runs were, I think, a little bit different than the last, what, four, three, four, you got seven, yeah, last four, where it was a little bit different game. As we all know, right, in New England, we know uh, the New England defense at that time was a very physical defense. Like they made it hard on the greatest show on turf to be the greatest show on turf that day. Some will say there were other things at play. Probably was, but somebody said it. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So chalk that up to the game player, because everybody doing it. Everybody is trying to get their advantage on the other team. New England just got caught. Uh, but it was a more physical game. Ty Law and Rodney Harrison and who's the other cornerbacks? Asante Samuel. He was a little bit more light, but he wasn't in that first run. He was in that third run, I believe. Definitely in that third run, maybe the second run. But yeah, uh, players like that, it was just a more hard nosed physical team. Like the offense was as well. Players like Troy Brown and Terry Glenn first team. No, that wasn't Terry Glenn first team. He was on the '96 team that went to the Super Bowl. Uh, who was on, who was on that? Troy Brown, I remember specifically. He could have been the only dude. That's crazy. He was doing a little bit of everything in that run with the Patriots. Shout out Troy Brown. But that was just a hard nosed football, and that's what football was at the time. Like it wasn't glamour. Like you could be a pretty good receiver just being a hard nosed receiver. I remember the Wayne Quebec, that dude, Wayne Quebec. That dude, I think he was 80 for the Jets. He was a tough receiver. Um, yeah. Um, and as the progression, or some would say regression of the game has happened over the last 20, 25 years or so, um, it's made it a lot easier for uh, offense to be offensive. Um, some can say that could be a offensive and offensive. Some will say that because I think I said in the last video, the quarterback play has dropped off significantly, and has become more run and gun, a lot more uh, uh, Pop Warner Pee Wee football, um, a lot more college or high school football. How that looks, where the athletes can totally just put up Madden numbers and totally dominate. But then as the game becomes more structured and better quality of players, uh, more athletic one, but higher intellect, as far as football intellect, higher football IQ and positioning and knowing where to be, um, things like that. It sometimes that athleticism you can't really do all that, which it showed uh, earlier in early football where players came and they were successful. Some players were really successful with it, like Doug Flutie. He came in at the tail end of his career because Doug Flutie was the shit in BC, Boston College. Uh, and I think they won a championship. I think he won a championship in college or came close. He upset, I believe, Miami. Didn't get drafted into the NFL, or if he did get drafted, it was quick. And then he went over into the CFL. He had some put up numbers in the CFL, and then came to the Bills at the tail end of his career and had some success. So, you know, uh, Steve McNair and Steve McNair was a throw that ball, Air McNair. That ball was in the air with accuracy and distance, hitting them. Um, he could have, he came with like 2 yards short, yard and a half short of beating the greatest show on turf. Um, so Steve McNair was one of them dudes that could scramble, get them yards and everything, but uh, right now, uh, as I'll say in my last video, Lamar Jackson is more. He's a great running back. I ain't too sold on his quarterbacking, so that's what's going to keep him from a championship, um, unless because in the playoffs things get too difficult. You're schemed too well in the playoffs. Um, to get away with those too many of those 20 yard runs and 15-yard runs and things like that with the better teams. um, Kansas City is a very balanced team, and last year their defense actually carried the team, um, and they leaned heavily on the defense, and Mahomes was good enough of a quarterback, and he got that giddy in his step too, where he can make it happen just as well as Lamar Jackson. Mahomes just happens to be a better passer of the ball, plain and simple. That's why he has what, 3 rings, and Lamar Jackson has 0. And I think with the additions on offense, hate to say it, Mahomes gonna put up some numbers this year, better numbers than last year. So because they got some pieces. I got Isaiah Pacheco in a league or two, so I'm leaning heavily on him to be productive. And I think he could be one of those players that gets what, 17 touchdowns. Like he can score just based off the fact that he's going to be in pretty good field position in a lot of games to score, uh, you know, touchdowns within the 5. He can catch out the out the backfield. Man, he's productive, in short yardage situations. And Andy Reid's offense is creative enough to do a lot of shit. I'm a believer in Andy Reid's offense for the running backs because I rolled LaShawn McCoy to the dirt. Boy, I rolled him. Pause. But man, LaShawn, I think I won a couple chips with LaShawn McCoy, thanks to Andy Reid's offense. So shout out Andy Reid. And uh I won last year with Isaiah Pacheco and Andy Reid. So I believe in those running backs and the wide receivers that they got. That dude Rice, he's gonna be a problem. Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown had a very interesting start of his career because he started in Baltimore with Lamar, and they were supposed to be like they were supposed to get it. They were supposed to get it. And if you can get open, but your quarterback can't get it to you, had that year in Arizona. I think he was 1 year in Arizona, and Kyler Murray was hurt for the majority of the season. We put up all right numbers, but let's see what happens with um I'm blanking on dude's name. I kept wanting to say Kaepernick, but Mahomes. Let's see what Mahomes does. What he does with Mahomes. So that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Um, yeah. Who I think is gonna win the Super Bowl? If you playing the odds, if you're Vegas, I don't bet or anything. So I don't know all that shit, but I know that shit just because things I watch and things I listen to, they talk about it. But I would assume that the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorites to win. Um, they put Baltimore up there. I think Cincinnati might have something to say. I think Joe Burrow wants to have a comeback. He was off, I think, for a season or two. He was hurt one of them seasons, I know. But I think Burrow, think he gonna have something to say. Then they're gonna have something to say in Cincinnati. They got some new guys. I haven't watched any preseason this year, so I don't know. The college guys and the free agent acquisitions. I don't know how well they've been integrated into the team's offenses, but that really preseason isn't not an indicator of what they're really going to do too much. um I guess, yeah, but they play two games, right? They play two preseason games, and I really ain't checking for the preseason games, and I haven't been watching NFL. I should have been watching NFL Network just to get some any failures on my part. To be a good uh fantasy player, you have to do the research. Got to put the time in. That's what anything you do in life. You have to be well researched. And sometimes things go in your way because it's fantasy. So shit, luck happens. Luck be a lady tonight. Happens in fantasy. I've seen some wow shit. I seen a Drew. I was with my homies one day, not my homes, but with my homies. Uh, we was watching the game. It was championship Sunday, and somebody went off. Somebody went off. Who went off? It was a Dolphins player that went off. I'm trying to think of the time. But all I know is Drew Brees went crazier that Monday night. And Tannehill went crazy. I think it was Tannehill. One of those, yeah. No, it was a Miami quarterback that went crazy. I don't think it was Tannehill. Somebody went crazy, but Drew Brees went crazy the next night and it was tied. And then it went to like Tuesday or Wednesday where the stat correction kicked in. It's crazy. It may not have been the championship, but it was like a playoff game. It was definitely a playoff game. I could be totally off. I've been indulging in indulgence. Legal though. Lawful though. Hmm. Anywho, yeah, things have changed. uh, and free flowing offense has made it more uh where the defense can't really play defense, can't be as physical as it once was, has opened things up for the offense and offensive players to put up more stats, which has made fantasy football players made them happy because you want to see those numbers. You want to run it up, run the numbers up. But because that has happened, and it's also weakened the quality of football, and it has uh, uh, shifted the competitive balance uh, in the offense's favor in any sport or in all walks of life. Uh, Things need to be on the up and up. It needs to be fair and balanced. Should not be things in this way. Things have to balance out. Offense and defense have to be on equal playing field. And if they're not on equal playing field, that's going to hurt uh, one party in the terms of sports. The paying consumer person not going out there spending their hard earned money in JB's economy, everything is is risen. Inflation is rampant. But you have the time to go out, take your lady friend, take your children out, go watch the sportsmen, and pay these exuberant prices. Not even just to get into the stadium, but just the park. And then when you're in the stadium, I know everything's online now. You get your tickets, but just to park your car, you'll pay through the roof. You get a beer, $10 at least. At the very least, it's $10. Hot dog, $9. Popcorn, $8. And I ain't been to LA. I don't know what it is in LA. I ain't been to a Super Bowl. Look, what has happened is, well, I ain't gonna say that, but I think the NFL fans or sports fans in general, we're kind of like trained monkeys. And maybe it's a desire, maybe it's in us to see competitiveness, uh, competition. Uh, Maybe you want to hear of tales of glory and conquest and people who are winners. Maybe that's in us to have because we ourselves may not be able to produce what others have produced. So maybe that's uh maybe it's a innate part of who we are as humans, where if we can't be great, we give our attention and admiration to others who are supposedly great. I don't know if that is a part of us innately, instinctually. Um, I don't know if that's a failure that we have, that we fight against every day. I don't know. But we pay these exorbitant uh, prices to watch uh, a product that is not as uh, good in the eyes of many people. Um, you know, some people, I'm 40, so I watch football 30 years, uh, unconsciously 35 years. So, it's on in the house and I'm a little kid running around the house and it's on, you know, seeing the game played. I remember the highlights from the 80s and 90s. Uh, it's a much different game now than it was definitely prior to 2010. Like everything just went soft. 2010. Those Obama years were not good for the country. They weren't good for the country at all. Everything just became watered down, soft and weak. As the country goes, as its leader. Anywho, ah, and this is all Monday quarterbacking. Is that the term? Monday morning quarterbacking? No. I foolishly took my dumb ass out there twice. Cast my vote for that man. That was a wolf in sheep's clothing. But for those who knew, they knew, you know. So the point in life is to be one of those who knows. Simple with that. Hosea 4:6. My people shall perish due to lack of knowledge. Or my people are lost because of lack of knowledge. So that's an edict for everybody. Discernment, discernment, discernment. Precept upon precept upon precept. Let me not go there. This sports talking bull stuff. That's another conversation, but it should always be in a conversation. So as part of my duty as Mr. 360, I have to incorporate things into the conversation to make things more just, or I just make it plain, make it easier to digest, uh, morally, spiritually, uh, psychologically. Bigger conversation. I need to get that 360 NBA channel popping because these are the type of conversations that need to be had at in a different format than sports talking bull stuff. But it's great to be able to have that ability to dip and dive in different worlds. Gotta be flexible, easy to adapt. I'm supposed to be talking about football. I'm going off on other things. Yes. Um, hmm. Football's easier for the offenses to play these days. Um, and those of an age we know, we understand what's going on. Um, and those of the younger generation, all these guys are great because they're putting up such great numbers. But if they were put in a different era with different rules, I don't know how great these players will actually be. You have some phenomenal players, that would transcend era. That's few and far between. And it works like that in most sports. You know, there's only some players that are just all-time greats, and being all-time means you're able to transcend errors. And Casey is the favorite to win. Baltimore is up there. Cincinnati is up there. Um, in the AFC, uh, they say Houston has a good team. Stroud played well until he got hurt last year. They got Diggs over there. I think Buffalo is going to take a step back. The Jets, we'll see what the Jets will do. They had a top-notch defense last year. They had me at quarterback last year, so Brees Hall he balled out last year with 7, 8 in the box. So I know what's his name is good. They got a wide receiver who's pretty good. So who's really good. Put up some numbers with me at quarterback. So what I'm thinking in the AFC, Miami. I don't think their defense is good enough to be something that they can lean on. Tua is when he's on, he's on. Um, but I don't know. They're probably a playoff team. Uh, I don't see them being in the Super Bowl. Um, just trying to think of AFC teams. San Diego, they lost some players in the offseason. I think Keenan Allen's in Chicago. Uh, they've always had good receivers. Um, who's in dude from Baltimore, running back from Baltimore? He went to San Diego. DK Dobbins, he went to San Diego. Um, they've had terrible coaching like the last 10 years. Coaches San Diego has been airheads, bunch of airheads. Been on the beach too fucking much. Um, John Harbaugh. I always get too confused. One of them Harbaugh coaches that he's there. Um, see if he makes better decisions uh, coaching wise than previous coaches have been at. Is it San Diego still? LA? I don't even know if it's San Diego anymore. Was that the Angels? The Chargers. That's the LA Chargers now. LA Chargers. Yeah. I like Herbert, Justin Herbert. But that defense, it's gotta be the defense, gotta be both sides of the ball. It's gotta be, and they've had pretty good defenses. That coaching shit has failed the Chargers last couple years. It's been terrible. Um, so they're a dark horse in the AFC. NFC, uh, 49ers, they're up there. It's 11:42. 49ers are up there. 49ers, Philly, uh, Green Bay. Love is going to be out for a couple weeks, so they might stack up some L's those couple weeks. Love is out, but I think they got a talented team, so I don't know what their backup quarterback situation is, but Green Bay should be in it. Detroit's going to be in it. Detroit, Dallas. I'm a Cowboys fan. Dak ain't that dude. Sorry. Um, I should do a Cowboys episode. Um, but yeah, I think that's five teams in the NFC. I don't see nothing out there. No, I don't think Tampa. Tampa might be a playoff team. Uh, if Mayfield got to produce, he played really well last year. Tampa has good players on both sides of the ball. So it all comes down to quarterback play. Uh, the Saints have they got Carr. Yeah, they had a solid, really good defense a couple years ago. It's a good defense, really good defense now. May have taken a step back for where it was a year or two ago. But hey, a lot of it, I'm riding on Carr to be that dude for Olave. So shit, get it to him. Ride him like they used to ride Michael Thomas. Big Michael Thomas fan back in the day. Think I want to chip with Michael Thomas. Um, but yeah, uh, I don't see too many competitors in the NFC like I do in the AFC, where I think the AFC is a little bit more top heavy. Um, Giants are trash. Uh, Thinking of NFC teams, Atlanta, they might be on the cusp of the playoffs. They could surprise and knock off. Um, they could knock off 9 or 10 wins. Uh, Make that NFC South a little bit more spicy. I don't see much in Carolina. Uh, my back is killing me. So if I grunt, it's because my back. I was lifting some. I was lifting some heavy bags a couple days ago. I didn't use my legs. The back is Oh, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Dak becomes highest paid player in NFL history with 4 year, $240 million contract extension. Adam Schefter. So I know the Cowboys are gonna win. Jerry, I let him go, player. I hear there was some controversy maybe last week. I don't know if I talked about this, but Jerry Jones, he was asked a question about should he give up general manager duties to somebody else? Should they bring in another general manager? And quite my thoughts are Jerry Jones is not the problem as a general manager. Jerry Jones is a double-edged sword. Jerry Jones is really the Vince McMahon of NFL owners because he's done a great. No, actually, I'm not going to say the Vince McMahon of NFL owners. Jerry Jones is something else. Um, Jerry Jones has been great for the NFL because the Cowboys are usually the highest valuated team in sports or American sports, um, if not all sports, maybe. But I know American sports, Cowboys are usually top two, usually Yankees or the Cowboys, um, or another NFL team franchise, but it's usually the Cowboys at the top. Um, so he has helped to generate the NFL a lot of money, a lot of billions of dollars of money. He's been a great spokesman for the NFL. But Jerry Jones, as a owner of an NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys, has been a hindrance to the team's success because Jerry Jones, uh, I never looked at it in this way until Steve Kim and Jason Whitlock were talking about it, but and even before they were talking about it, but they were saying, or Steve Kim was saying that Jerry Jones needs to win a Super Bowl without. He needs to stand by himself and win a Super Bowl because it is sad that even though Jerry was the owner of the Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson built that team in the 90s. Um, and because the Cowboys were terrible in the 80s when Jerry first bought the team and bought Jimmy Johnson and a football guy, and he helped build the Cowboys um, into what it was in the 90s. So and they got into their disagreement and Jimmy Johnson left. Barry Switzer comes in. Uh, Barry Switzer comes in 95, 95, 95, 96 with Jimmy Johnson's team, which Jimmy Johnson built. Uh, they added Dion, came in as a mercenary for that when he came, because he's bouncing around. He was in San Francisco previous year and won it, and then hopped to Dallas and won it again. Won the Super Bowl again. So they won with that team, which was essentially uh, Jimmy Johnson's team that he built. But the purists will say that Jimmy Johnson was the reason that the Dallas Cowboys won and were as dominant as they were, because he took his talents from Miami, and they were the dominant team in the 80s in college, and went over to the NFL. Did the same thing with the Cowboys. Was not as successful. Didn't have that anywhere near that level of success with the Dolphins, but he caught Dan Marino at the back end of his career. So Jimmy Johnson, I think, has been not Jimmy Johnson. Jerry Jones has been uh, undermining his team because he wants to be seen as the reason why the Dallas Cowboys uh, wins the Super Bowl, and that undermines the coach, the head coach. And him and Parcells fell out because, all right, let me coach the team. Let me, and this was at the back end of Parcells' career as well. So I don't know how long he wanted to be in it. Because I don't think he was there. I don't think he was there 5 years. Could have been 3 years, something like that. I should get this stuff up. I've got the phone right in my hand. Give the people credible information. Uh, but that didn't work, and it hasn't worked with any coach since Jimmy Johnson, and that was a relationship failure, probably on both sides. But as the owner of the team, it's not about me; it's about we. If you don't have an ego, Jerry Jones has an ego, and I'd have made hopefully if in that position, given if I was in that position, I would uh, forego my ego and say, no, this is bigger than me. You know, we must see TV every week. We racking up these wins. You know, It's a tailgate festival everywhere we go up. We the NFL Beatles, not the Heatles. NFL Beatles, like they was the shit in the '90s. Like, give all that up because you want to be the man. You want to be seen or known as the architect of a championship team, which is and has eluded Jerry since he let Jimmy uh, go. And you had, I don't know a lot of owners that have a press conference after every game. I don't know. The GMs have a press conference after every game, and I know it don't happen in basketball in the NBA. Now, I don't see it happening too much uh, in football on Sunday, unless they're going to announce a firing. Happens every Sunday with the Cowboys. So I heard Whitlock bring this up. Nah, I watch Whitlock every night. He pushing that Christian shit, which I'm totally against. But as far as sports commentary and cultural commentary, I rock with. You know, outside of the Christian, he be caping for Whitlock be caping for these white people sometimes. You throw the cape. Teach their own. But I watch Whitlock every night. And what I was gonna say, he be talking about Dion all the time and Dion's ego. And um I see a lot of the stuff that goes on in Colorado. And you see the stuff that goes on um that was going on wherever he was coaching before, wherever in Mississippi or wherever he was coaching. Um, it's more about him than it is about them kids. And I think Whitlock, and it's you could tell it, a person with a big ego, uh, and he's a phenomenal football player. Uh, some say the greatest cornerback ever. He's in that conversation, legitimately, legitimately in that conversation as greatest cornerbacks and one of the greatest defenders ever. Um, but that's football playing. And what we do as a society, we build a lot of these people up. They build themselves up way too much than what they really are. And they put a microphone on their face, and we're meant to believe that their thoughts and their opinions uh, matter, which they do if your actions match what you preach. Um, and we can see it. Dion's just a lot of it is hypocritical and a lot of it is egotistical. Um, that big ass cross and shit. Because when you believe in what he's purported to believe in, and a lot of people believe in, that holds you away from accountability. It's somebody else. They died for me. And that shit work play. You accountable to yourself and what you do. No man can die for another man's sin. It's not how that shit work. That's why you gotta have your ego in check. That's a different story. Um, but Whitlock, either Whitlock or shit, it could have been. And I think it was definitely Whitlock. He said that Jerry should hire Dion as the coach of the Cowboys. I don't know if he said it. Somebody made the he was talking about. I don't know if he said it, but he was talking about somebody saying it. So I'm not going to attribute that statement to Whitlock. He was just talking about it, and it's very interesting, and it definitely wouldn't work. But that's where we are with the Dallas Cowboys. That That's why they're not a contender. And they really, the last 2 years, they had a very good defenses, very good defense, and they blew it because I think the defense is going to take a step back. You got Micah Parsons doing this shit more than I am. He's more consistent at it than I am, and that's a problem. Talking on camera and shit. You need to be uh, on the field somewhere, chasing rabbits and preparing for the grind of the NFL season, not talking a bunch of bullshit, trying to race Olympic athletes or whatever the fuck you trying to do. Play football. That's what a lot of these athletes they get into your mind bone. Do your sport. Try to be the best that you can be at what you're paid a lot of fucking money to do. Don't do this shit. Let people with not a lot going on in life. Let us do this shit. Let us do this. Y'all focus on the game, player, because your thoughts, your opinions, your perspectives, and analyses of the game and the sport that you play are oftentimes dog fucking shit. Sorry. Michael Parsons and many other players. Play the game. Shut the fuck up. It's terrible. Dak paid highest. Dak Prescott highest paid player. Shit crazy, man. Dak Prescott, man. He ain't that dude. I'm just reading it. I'm on Twitter right now. I really need to start sharing my screen. I don't have my Twitter and my Instagram um, synced up to my laptop, everything on the phone. So to make it a better viewing experience for you, I need to have this stuff prepared in advance. Um, looking like Tim Dillon. Look like he in some stuff. Looks like it. What is it? Tim Dillon? Tom Dillon? What was his name? Because Tim Dillon is the comedian. There's another one of these dudes. It ain't Tim Pool. Tim Pool, yeah. I don't ever want to get too big. You got to receive all these funds from different places to get the notoriety, get the blue checks and all that stuff. Nope. This is a self-ran operation. However big it becomes, it's because it's funded through the pockets of this man right here. And ain't no outside sources funding this operation, this elaborate operation that we got going here. Nope. You ain't gonna get me caught up in none of what going on out there. You know. But if you're willing, if you like what I'm saying, or you feel that I am able to uh, convey a message to the many people out here, whoever decides to watch this, and you think that I can be able to market your product, hopefully a very high quality product. If you feel that I'm able to do that, you feel I'm able to market, brand, sell your product, please hit me where I need to be uh, contacted at. Do so, because I could make it pop, baby. Anywho, Cowboys is a mess. So CeeDee Lamb just got paid. Doesn't Michael Parsons have to get paid? Somebody else on the defense got to get paid. A lot of people getting paid. I know the NFL TV deal has kicked in, so like a lot of people gonna get paid. That's just gonna be the normal the competitive balance, which is I don't even know if it's competitive balance. It Jason Tatum said this, I think after one of the games. I don't know if it's the finals game, but he said, I don't know how we got Drew Holiday over here. I don't know how they get these players over here. I don't know. They making it work with the money. I think it's all funny money at this point. So I say a lot to say the Chiefs are the favorite. And I think a lot's going to have to happen in the favor of other teams um, to beat the Chiefs. You know, this might be the year where we see a three-peat. Um, Statistically speaking, it's unlikely to happen, especially in football, because I don't think it's been done in 16, 60s, since the 50s. Oh, shit, no, they did it. Pittsburgh may have done it. They may have three-peat, but I think it was one of those Packers teams like in the 50s or 60s. It was the last team to do it in professional football, one of the big leagues in America. So yeah, because I think they've gotten better. I think the Chiefs have gotten better on definitely on offense. So they won it last year, and they rolled their defense, which was a very good defense. Um, and they've gotten better on offense. I say they're the favorite, but yeah, that's what's up. Got a good message. Um, but yeah, they're the favorite. Somebody got to take them out. And I think it's got to come from the AFC. If the AFC doesn't take them out, um, unless Brock Purdy gets, he's got to become a better quarterback. Maybe he will. He's been in a lot of big games. And hopefully being in those experiences, and I'm not a 49ers fan at all, but just looking at competition, hopefully, being in those experiences where you're not expected to be, hopefully that makes you a better player. You study the game, do your research to be the best that you could possibly be at your position, you know, and things may go in your favor. It's about the work you put in. Um, Outside of, the puppeteers, the people holding the strings, uh, who are at play, who can dictate the outcome of many of these competitive contests under the professional banner. But if all things were fair, hopefully the work that you put in, gets the results that they're supposed to get. Um, but like if if anybody, San Fran, I think they're the only team in the NFC that could beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't see Detroit doing it. I don't think their defense is that good. Plus, you got to score on them. Laporta being back is huge. Um, Golf has been in the Super Bowl before. Love Saint Amon Raw, whatever the dude name is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Um, he's a baller. Um, I don't think they can do it. Um, so who the toughest competition that Casey faces is within the AFC. So I think if they get out, if they make it to the bowl, they're gonna win it. That's just how I see it. Um, I've went long. I've been mostly football here, so I think I'm gonna end it here. And I wish I could get they should have a time. Jeez. I need a better program to do my recordings in. But so I can just see the time. Because I never see when I start. Hold on. Can I see the time? All right. Can't see the time, but I'm ending it here. This has been your boy D Davis here, Mr. 360 himself, with sports talk and bull stuff. Talked a little NFL. I think I talked a lot of NFL. Talk Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys and their situation. Um, yeah, well, my thoughts on who's going to take it this year. Um, yeah, like, share, subscribe. Give me your comments. Tell me what you think, your thoughts. I'm out.